Nowadays, public transit is becoming more and more important to people. Cities are getting tougher to drive in, parking is scarce, and it just makes a whole lot of sense to use public transit nowadays. So in this new series, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at major cities and sort of rate their public transit system. Are they practical? Are they easily accessible? Are they cheap? Do they make sense? Are they efficient? These are questions that should help determine the quality of a city's transit system. Today we're starting with Montreal. I have lots of experience with public transit in Montreal, so I figured this would be a pretty good place to start. Hope you guys enjoy. First, let me break down what Montreal has to offer in terms of the types of public transit that are available. Number one is the Metro. The Montreal Metro is an underground rapid transit system that serves the greater Montreal area. Opened in 1966, it has expanded to a total of 68 stations on 4 different lines. The Metro totals 69.2 kilometers. The Metro connects the island of Montreal to Longueuil and Laval. The Montreal Metro is Canada's second busiest rapid transit system and the 4th busiest in North America, behind New York City, Mexico City, and Toronto. On average, there are 1.4 million passengers per day. This was as of 2019. The Montreal Metro took inspiration from the design in Paris. The architecture is incredible, making it incredibly unique. The second type is EXO, also known as RTM. EXO is formerly known as AMT. They operate Montreal's commuter rail and metropolitan bus services. It is the second busiest system in Canada after Toronto's GO Transit. EXO covers a large area, essentially the entire metro area of Montreal, with additions of Kahnawake and Saint-Jérôme. EXO currently serves around 4.1 million people. The commuter rail has 5 different lines, spanning as far west as Hudson, Quebec, and as far east as Mont-Saint-Hilaire, Quebec. The longest line is the Green Line, which travels from the Lucien-Lallier station in downtown Montreal all the way to Saint-Jérôme for a total of 62.6 kilometers. These trains are very nicely designed. They consist of 2 levels with very comfortable seats. As mentioned, EXO also runs multiple bus lines in the suburbs of Montreal. In 2018, it was estimated that they carried 174,000 passengers on a typical weekday, 77,210 on the trains, and 97,500 on the buses. The third is the REM de l'Est. While this is a major work in progress and it's not yet completed, the REM or the REM, or honestly whatever you want to call it, I have no idea what the proper way to call it. I usually just call it the REM when I'm talking about it, so I'm going to go with that. The REM is going to be a light metro rapid transit system being built to link Greater Montreal to the city itself. The system will link many people to the downtown core, with the hub being at Central Station in Montreal. Another key factor of this project is that the station being built at Montreal Trudeau International Airport in Dorval. This station will be a major development because tourists and travelers will finally have an easy and simple way to get right downtown from the airport without having to scramble to find the right bus that's going in the right direction, or a taxi or an Uber or whatever. The rail system being built will be 67 kilometers long, and it is costing the government $6.9 billion to construct. An interesting fact about this system is that the trains will be fully automatic, meaning no conductors will be required. This system will run as far west as Sainte-Anne-de-Bellevue on the West Island and as far east as the Rive Sud. And the former EXO station of Dermontagne will be converted to the REM network. This station will be the furthest north that the REM goes. And the fourth type are the STM buses. STM also runs the metro, but this is strictly about the buses that, if you've been to Montreal, you've seen them all over the roads, absolutely everywhere. The STM currently has over 186 bus routes that transport on average 1.4 million passengers daily. These buses can be seen all over Montreal, as I said. They are an extremely popular mode of transportation in the city, and quite frankly, you turn every corner, it doesn't matter where you are in the city, there's a bus stop, and that's part of the reason why they're so popular. Now let's get into what's perhaps the most important question here. What does it cost to use all these services? For the STM, so the buses and the metro, a day pass costs $10. A round trip fare costs $6.50. For the EXO commuter trains, a single train fare costs $6.25. As for the REM, the cost of the tickets are not yet decided. I'd imagine we'll be getting an update fairly soon on what this will actually cost. And I'd also just like to note that if you buy in bulk or a pass, I know when I used to take the EXO train pretty much every day, it was the Opus card. I would use that, and then if I bought a lot of passes just to load onto it, the price would go down quite a bit. But you probably already figured this is the case for most public transit systems in the world. Is Montreal's public transit efficient? Generally speaking, yes, public transit in Montreal is efficient and it is reliable. The metro is generally more reliable than buses due to it being underground and not having to deal with the, I guess, what are you going to call them? The elements of Montreal. Construction and traffic, those are the big two, highly linked together. One of the reasons why the metro is so popular, because you're underground, you don't have to deal with any of that. Another thing too, the weather can play a factor. Of course, being in the winter can make a huge difference. As for the EXO train line, I can say from experience that this is in most cases a very reliable and efficient method of transportation. When I was in high school, from April until June for 3 years, I would take an EXO train to help me get home, and I can honestly say after 3 years of taking it, I could count on one hand the number of times it was late by more than 5 minutes. If you're planning to take, let's say, a 1 o'clock train, I would say 95% of the time that train will be at the station between 1 and 1:03. That's how good it is. Montreal is at times an absolute nightmare to drive in, so it is really good to know what the public transit system is like, and I can tell you, in general, it's pretty good. Obviously, there are things here and there that need to be fixed, but with the network constantly growing and then the REM being built and all the new projects, it can only really get better. Which in the end, it's going to be a win-win because it's going to take cars off the road, which will make it much easier to drive through the city. So everyone benefits here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Public transit is a really interesting topic that a lot of people care about. If you want more videos like this, be sure to let me know in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe for more, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, guys.